Welcome back to the African Web. Today we're uncovering the truth behind Africa's gold and its exploitation by foreign powers. Despite its wealth, Africa's resources often benefit outsiders more than its own people. At the heart of this resistance is Ibrahim Traoré, a young leader fighting to protect Africa's future. This video will reveal who's really profiting from Africa's gold and how Traoré's bold actions could change everything. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any vital updates. Africa, a land blessed with immense natural wealth, has always been a target for those who see its riches as theirs for the taking. From the dark days of colonization to the modern era of globalization, Africa's resources have been systematically drained by foreign powers. Today, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, stands at the center of a new chapter in this age-old story. Dubai, with its gleaming skyscrapers and luxurious lifestyle, has become a global hub for the illegal gold trade, a trade that is costing Africa billions every year. In 2022 alone, a staggering 435 tons of gold was smuggled out of Africa, with 93% of this illegal gold ending up in Dubai. This gold, worth over $35 billion, represents 40% of Africa's total gold production. Yet, while Dubai grows richer, Africa remains trapped in a cycle of poverty and economic instability. The question is, why? Why does a continent with so much wealth continue to suffer? The answer lies in the systemic extraction of Africa's resources by foreign powers, a modern-day continuation of the colonial mindset that has plagued the continent for centuries. The illegal gold trade is not just a problem of legality, it is a deep-seated moral issue that reveals the persistent inequalities between Africa and the rest of the world. While African miners work under dangerous and unethical conditions, the wealth they produce is funneled through Dubai and into the hands of Western corporations. These corporations, many of them headquartered in Europe and North America, are the ultimate beneficiaries of this stolen wealth. But this isn't just about economics. It's about power. By controlling the flow of gold, the West and its allies maintain a stranglehold on global markets, keeping Africa in a position of dependency. While Africa is left with environmental destruction, social disintegration, and economic impoverishment, the rest of the world reaps the rewards. It's a vicious cycle that shows no signs of slowing down. Dubai's role as a middleman is crucial. Often referred to as the City of Gold, Dubai provides a marketplace where illegal gold can be sold, facilitating the flow of wealth from Africa to the West. The city's luxurious lifestyle, its opulent hotels, and towering skyscrapers are, in part, funded by the misery and exploitation of African miners. The Western financial system is deeply intertwined with this exploitation. Banks and financial institutions, often based in Europe and North America, provide the infrastructure that allows this gold to be traded on global markets. Think about it. How has this exploitation been allowed to continue unchecked for so long? The answer lies in the combination of political, economic, and legal structures that have been carefully crafted to protect the interests of the powerful. Western nations, with their long history of colonialism and economic dominance, have played a central role in creating and maintaining these structures. These agreements make it difficult for African countries to control their resources, forcing them to sell their gold at prices dictated by the global market. Let's not forget the role of political influence. Western nations have a long history of meddling in African politics, supporting regimes that align with their interests while undermining those that do not. This political interference ensures that African governments remain dependent on foreign aid and investment, making it difficult for them to take a strong stand against the exploitation of their resources. The West uses its economic and political power to keep Africa in a state of dependency, ensuring that the flow of gold and other resources continues unabated. This exploitation also has a devastating impact on the environment. Artisanal mining, which is often the source of illegal gold, is incredibly destructive. Miners use toxic chemicals like mercury and cyanide to extract gold, poisoning rivers, soil, and entire ecosystems in the process. For the communities living in these regions, the land that once provided food, water, and shelter is now a barren, toxic landscape. But the human cost doesn't stop with environmental destruction. The illegal gold trade is often controlled by armed groups, including terrorist organizations and criminal syndicates. These groups use the profits from gold mining to fund their activities, fueling conflicts and perpetuating cycles of violence and instability. This perpetuates a cycle of poverty and underdevelopment, making it even harder for Africa to break free from the grip of foreign exploitation. And while all this happens, Western corporations turn a blind eye to the origins of their raw materials. The result is a global supply chain that is deeply tainted by corruption and exploitation, yet operates under the guise of legitimacy. The wealth generated by Africa's gold could be used to lift millions out of poverty, build schools and hospitals, and invest in the future of the continent. Let's talk about the new wave of resistance against this exploitation. Leaders like Burkina Faso's president Ibrahim Traoré are beginning to challenge the status quo. Traoré, who has been vocal about the need for African nations to take control of their resources, represents a growing movement that demands justice for Africa. This movement is about reclaiming Africa's wealth for its people, ending the exploitation that has kept the continent in a state of dependency for far too long. But what will it take to bring about real change? For starters, African nations must take control of their gold production, halting the export of raw gold and investing in local refineries. By refining their gold within Africa, countries can retain more of the value of their resources, create jobs, and stimulate local economies. This is not just about economics. It's about reclaiming sovereignty over Africa's resources. African nations must also work together to renegotiate international trade agreements, ensuring that they have the power to control their resources. Strengthening regional cooperation is crucial, as it allows Africa to present a united front in global trade negotiations. Organizations like the African Union (AU) have a critical role to play in coordinating these efforts and ensuring that Africa speaks with one voice on the global stage. Greater transparency and accountability in the gold trade are also essential. African governments must crack down on corruption and ensure that the profits from gold mining are used to benefit the people, not just a small elite. Civil society must also play a role in holding governments and corporations accountable for their actions. Finally, there needs to be a broader shift in global attitudes toward Africa. The West must recognize that Africa is not a charity case, but a continent with immense potential. This means ending the patronizing narratives that portray Africa as a problem to be solved and instead recognizing it as a partner with valuable contributions to make to the global economy. As we wrap up, it's clear that Africa's gold trade is more than just a story of exploitation. It's a story of resistance and hope. Leaders like Ibrahim Traoré are shining examples of the fight to reclaim Africa's resources for its people. But this fight isn't just for Traoré or the African nations. It's for all of us who believe in justice and equality. What do you think? Should more leaders follow in Traoré's footsteps? How can Africa take back control of its wealth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe in the cause, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the African Web. Together, we can make a difference. Thanks for watching. And until next time, stay tuned for more eye-opening content.